You know you're going to sacrifice a few moments, but you're believing or you're trusting that that image is going to tell the whole story.
The goal isn't to live forever. The goal is to create something that will.
You're listening to Perspective, a podcast for Wedding Craves, where we sit down often with a special guest and talk about our many years of experience in the wedding industry. In the studio with us today is the one and only Fer Juaristi, who has come all the way over from Mexico just to chat with us. Of course, Fer didn't travel all the way just to be on our podcast, but he has been touring Europe and educating the masses at various workshops and conferences, so we thought we'd ask him if he'd want to be on the podcast, and he just happened to say yes. This episode is about finding the extraordinary in the ordinary, something I feel many of us videographers and photographers tend to struggle with. We'll not only get into the origins of Fer's story, but his journey and approach to shooting weddings and how he takes advantage of limitations rather than the limitations affecting his photography. We're also going to be talking about Instagram, prostitution, and Filomena. And of course, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I get it. It sounds crazy, but you're going to have to keep listening. This episode is going to be great if you're someone who can't find their style, or even what could make you unique in a saturated market, which is a common struggle that has affected even the greatest of photographers. This episode is, of course, sponsored by With Jack, but let's get on to pouring that coffee, eh, Greg? What are we drinking today?
We are drinking a Kenyan coffee. I got it at Laboratorio Espresso this morning.
Yes.
It's Key, and it's a AA Kenyan, and a filter on the Chemex.
That's right. Fjord?
From Fjord, yeah.
Fjord.
Which is strange because it's German, but Fjord's more Scandinavian, I think.
Yeah, so I actually wasn't sure because someone asked me about the word fjord. Is it just a Scandinavian thing? I don't know.
No, because they have fjords in New Zealand, don't they?
Fun fact. And we are here with Fer. Hello.
Yes. Hello.
How you doing?
Good, brothers. Thanks for the invite.
Juaristi?
Juaristi.
Juaristi.
Jose Fernando Juaristi.
Mm-hmm. It's an honor to have you in here because you're pretty big in the game.
Yeah, I pay my followers, like every other wedding photographer.
So yeah, it's awesome.
So how's your week been? Because it's been a busy week with Farm Shop.
Oh, yeah.
I think you were over in Santorini before that. So
yes, and next up France as well. So
busy few weeks. But how's it been?
It's at the same time it's a blessing because you never expect when you start to photograph weddings that this can happen. And on the other side as well, like you miss your family like crazy, and you miss your bed, and you miss your dog. Mm-hmm. So it's like a good thing in life. It's always a contradiction.
Yeah.
And obviously, just for the listeners out there, you have 3 kids.
3 little monsters.
Yeah.
It's a good way to describe it.
Right, that's it, man. Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously you're enjoying father life.
Yes, yeah, it's amazing, man. It's my first kid. Her name's Maya. Mm-hmm. She's 10 now.
Right.
So we have a lot of experience, but every year I think we forget about everything and we start from zero. They're kids, yeah.
I feel like every year for a child is just something new. Like they just change completely, and then you just gotta keep up, and then but that's the fun.
Yeah, that's the fun, man. Yeah.
But obviously, we were all at Photography Farm 19.
Yeah, yeah, we attended it. You were speaking. Mm-hmm. There was a good lineup. There was Freudis, Jim Pollard, the Crawleys, Lawsons,
Jennifer
Moher. Yeah. Good bunch of people.
Yeah, it was a really good community, and just before doing our presentations, we were lucky enough to talk with each other and feel ourselves as well, like how if this is a decent year for us and what has changed in the industry. So we get a lot of inside stuff as well. So it's not only about talking about your style, because it can get quite boring if you talk and talk and talk about yourself, and then so it's better to listen more.
Oh, you took off your headphones. I thought you meant business. I was like, what's going on here?
Like, here we go, man.
Oh my God.
Here we go. More comfortable.
Do you believe in God?
They're just monitoring the levels by eye.
Cool, okay.
These headphones are terrible.
They are. I'm sorry. I broke them and they're duct taped and everything. It's, I'm sorry, Greg. I'm sorry. Obviously, I spoke to you in the car on the drive-in. This isn't your first time in Scotland?
No.
Is it not?
I did a elopement a few years ago here by the Highlands. And yeah, you're lucky to live around that place. It's magical.
Yeah. For anyone who doesn't know Scotland too well, Glasgow is kind of more or less central kind of Scotland, and only, I mean, you could leave half an hour north of Glasgow and you'd be in, you know, you'd hit the lochs, and then a little bit further you'd hit the mountains, and then, you know, it's just a wonderful country, and it's really close. I think a lot of people from Glasgow just don't realise how close it is sometimes.
Yeah.
Which is kind of amazing.
We are lucky to have this scenery here, because you get complacent and you sit in Glasgow and you forget the amazing scenery that's nearby until you go out with a couple and you're like, this is incredible.
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to have a holiday in your own country or city because you're in this routine of producing and delivering and having a life. So sometimes we forget about what's around us.
Absolutely. Because we're obviously, you're not here too often, I actually did go to the shop and I brought you some very Scottish treats.
Okay.
So you obviously don't need to have any, that's absolutely fine.
Thank you.
But this is kind of the national Scottish drink. It's Iron Brew.
Iron Brew? I see.
I don't know if you've ever had this before. It's kind of
Is it like soda or?
It is a soda. It's well, no one really knows the actual flavors.
Okay.
But I got a defunct one time, and it tasted very much of a raspberry.
Okay.
So that's something. But you might not recognize a raspberry in there. I don't know.
Okay.
And then another very British, another very Scottish treat is the Tunnock's tea cake.
Ooh la la. Okay.
Which chocolate, biscuit, and cream in the middle.
Okay, so it's good for the diet, right?
Oh, all of this is extremely healthy. And Greg, obviously, I brought you a can too because I knew you'd be hungover.
Yeah.
And so Iron Brew in Scotland is the kind of the hangover cure.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Maybe less so because we recently went through a change and they took out half the sugar.
Oh.
So, you know, a lot of people got really angry.
Yeah. Do you have like Mexican Coke here, like Mexican Coca-Cola, or no?
There's one or two restaurants that specially import it, and they get the traditional Mexican stuff.
Yeah, because they still use the sugar cane, so everybody loves that.
Yeah. Okay, I don't think I've ever had that.
Yeah, try it, man.
I will do. That sounds
It becomes an addiction, so be careful.
All right, cool. Well, at any point, feel free to crack open a can, have a treat, whatever.
I'll do it, definitely.
Or put one in your bag, you know. Just enjoy away.
Thanks.
But yeah, so Photography Forum, for those of you who don't know, is a workshop conference that really helps primarily, I think, photographers, but also videographers as well to hone their craft. And I think the unique thing about it is that they have a whole load of guest speakers come in, kind of highly regarded, I should say, guest speakers. And during the first day, they'll give a talk each, which is, how long was your talk? It was about 45 to an hour. Some went on longer, but that's absolutely fine. We did not mind. The more education, the better. And the second day, seemed to be absolutely crazy for all those who were taking shoot sessions. As I was speaking to you, Fer, coming in, you were ran off your feet pretty much the whole day.
Yeah.
But
I think
yeah,
throughout the 2 days, whenever I spoke to someone who said, "Oh, are you doing any shoots on the Friday?" Like, yeah, I've signed up for one. It's like, "Oh, who have you gone for?" I think everybody I spoke to was like, "I've signed up for Fairs." It's like, yep, he's busy. So how were the shoots? Did you manage to have fun in that? You sort of confined yourself to one room, didn't you?
Yeah.
Challenge yourself.
Yeah. I think, usually on portraits, I try to create something out of nothing, or not nothing, but just to transform what's in front of you. And sometimes it's so easy to get used to seeing things in a boring way.
Yeah.
So for me, on a workshop, it's all about pushing ourselves to create something in that it's boring. So we push ourselves, and we every image that we shot was around maybe 8 to 10 meters from where we did the presentation. And that's scary because you start to wander around. Oh, this is a beautiful wall, or it's an ugly wall, and then it's getting boring, and then you have to create there. So that was my challenge.
Yeah. I think out of all of the speakers, or for everyone who shot, I think your style, the way that you look at a room and find creative inspiration, is very applicable to, I guess, the whole of Britain. But I know very specifically people in Scotland tend to look at certain venues and get kind of put off by going there, and they can sometimes just feel very negative before they get to it. They feel kind of negative because of the venue.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of a misstep for many people. So yeah, it was nice to see that you're able to be creative with the limitation. Mm-hmm. So I think that was very useful for people.
Yeah, I think sometimes as wedding photographers, we're creating like postcards with beautiful people inside, and that's easy, like any guy with a camera, with a phone, can create that image. And now that even with phones, you can have a depth of field. You can blur the background.
Yeah.
So we have to up our game, and we have to create concepts that they're not obvious.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think. Yeah.
I think that's always the challenge, though, isn't it? So it was cool. And then obviously for everyone who wasn't doing a shoot with a speaker, they had free talks on the whole day. So you could pay for the event, and you could come on the first day and then pay for a session, and you get a lot of information. But if you're new to the industry and you didn't have a lot of funds in the bank, you could go on the, what day was it? What was the second day? Saturday.
Friday.
You could go on the Friday, and you could sap up all this free knowledge from some really great speakers. You had Mark Pecura speaking.
Yep.
You had our friend Ashley Baxter, who was talking about insurance, which some people aren't very excited about insurance. But I don't know if you got a chance to speak to her. She's very vibrant, and she makes it very exciting. There's Facebook marketing by David McGinty. Who I'm missing out a few. Lexi
Lane did an underwater thing.
Lexi Lane.
Her stuff's incredible.
Yeah, it was in Mexico. She shot those in Mexico.
Yeah. So I went in and I saw the Sony booth and I saw that image. I was like, man, that's an amazing image. But I didn't at the time, because it was the first day, I'm just getting warmed up in my head. I didn't quite realize that Lexi would actually be here showing a film of it and doing a talk on the Friday. So when I saw that, I was like, man, the film of it is like the stills are amazing. But seeing how it's made and then seeing the video of the stills is something else. Like, it's just spectacular. So yeah, definitely full turn on Instagram. Yeah. And I would definitely recommend anyone else to do the same, because she was great and lovely to speak to.
Yeah.
I'm definitely missing out a few people. Giffy was there, and someone else.
And the Good and Banana guys.
Yes. Liana with her the gunslingers. Which cool product. Definitely, if you're a photographer who likes to carry your two cameras on your body, definitely a great product. Not really useful for us video people, but it could be. But we don't tend to. I suppose the single strap would be more beneficial.
Yeah.
So you always shoot with one camera, like.
Well, because there's two of us.
Okay.
It's funny. So we were speaking to Cole last week, Cole Roberts. They work as a duo, but they always shoot separately, which is so funny because Greg and I are a duo and we always shoot together.
Okay.
And I think it's more so just because we like to go to a wedding and we like hanging out. Mm-hmm. And just Greg handles a lot of audio stuff. I do some of the filming while that's happening. So we've obviously got our roles on the day. Yes. But I just quite like chilling out at a wedding. Greg relaxes me.
Yeah,
I can be quite stressy sometimes.
Yeah, that's normal.
You are a calming presence. Thank you, Greg. Thank you.
Yeah. But I can see that even shooting with two cameras on video can work as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just to change different perspective, different lenses.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, like, we shoot with the zoom lenses. So we've got a 24-70 and a 70-200. And maybe, no, those are the two. We've got two of those. But yeah, I have been thinking, it'd be quite nice to kind of limit myself with a prime. Yeah, you could just put one prime on one camera, one prime on another, and just, do that, because...
The lighter, the better, no?
Yes, absolutely.
At least for your backs. No,
definitely.
Like in 10 years ahead.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're going a 2-hour hike up a mountain. Active small kit.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
So we were speaking to Pete Lawson,
Oh,
and he is a cool
he's
dude.
my lover from UK. Hello, Pete.
It was so funny. We were in his talk, and we had worked with him like 8 years ago or something crazy before they did video. And he came in, and midway through his talk, he was like, "Well, what did he say exactly?"
He was trying to say that he doesn't see other filmmakers do the sort of things he does on a wedding, but the way he said it was something like he doesn't see.
I've never worked with a good cinematographer. And we're like, oh. Sorry to throw you
He
under
was
the
just
bus
trying
there.
to show off, man.
Yeah,
because
I know.
his kid, he was watching like a Facebook Live, so he was like, yeah.
I know. But I spoke to him after. He was like, I didn't mean that. I was like,
No,
that's
it's
funny.
scary to be on the stage, man. Like,
Oh, yeah,
sometimes you're not
absolutely.
hearing what you're saying,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah,
like,
And as soon as he
Yeah.
said that, he was like, I don't mean it like that. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah.
yeah, it's so easy to be an asshole when you're on stage, really, because it's hard. It's hard to. We want to be behind the camera, not on the freaking spotlight.
Yeah. So it was a really good event, and Photography Forum was last year and the year before, and it was this year. No doubt there will be a 2020. I would highly recommend for all the photographers out there who haven't been, totally go. It's also great for networking, getting to know more people. I spoke to a few newbies, and they were just really excited to be there and to meet new people, and they were really lovely. Yeah.
It's good fun.
And it was also nice to hear that people listened to the podcast, coming over and saying that they enjoyed the podcast. So thank you very much for coming over and saying that, because podcasts are a lot of work, and it's it's nice to hear from you guys.
Education can be quite scary, no?
Yeah.
Because as videographers or photographers, you're just in a freaking cave, and then you go to a wedding and you are in another cave, because you're working. You want to capture those moments.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can feel that your peers can be your competition. So just going to a live show can be intimidating.
No, totally.
But I always push everyone to attend, because it's it's the only way to grow. Like having a clash of a confrontation between the ways you work and others do it. So don't be afraid of confronting your vision with others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had this thought the other day that we're kind of in a privileged position as videographers, because we work alongside a photographer at every wedding. So we see how they do a couple shoot. We see how they work at live events, how they approach the dancing, or how they approach, if they've, that's obviously not the case with other photographers, unless you're seconding.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because we go along to likes of Photography Farm or the Roadie Workshop or anything, and we know loads of people. It's like, how you doing? Worked with you last year. How you doing? Whereas other photographers come along and they're like, oh, I know of your work, but I don't actually know you. How you doing? And they're sort of trying to break the ice, whereas we were like, we've worked with you before. How you doing, Mark? How you doing? Such and such.
Yeah. And I think like videographers networking is different, no? Because at least in Mexico, usually they book a photographer and then who do you recommend for video? I don't know if it's the same here, maybe it's the opposite.
Most of the time it's similar. Yeah.
So it's always good to know and feel the vibe of others, no? And
Yeah. It's funny. We have actually changed our way of shooting a lot, because I feel like for when we used to shoot with photographers, we were quite intrusive sometimes, or for certain moments we'd be intrusive, and I could see them kind of getting annoyed, and I understand that, and I know.
No, it's a team effort. No,
So,
if we make a plan beforehand, like in the key moments, everybody's gonna be amazed. And I hate seeing wedding videos because I see all the moments that I missed. Really. So it's like, oh, I was here. Oh, I missed this. So it's always intriguing, and it's important to. It's a feedback to see all the moments I missed.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's good, man. We need that. Yeah.
For the listeners out there who won't have heard of you, the one person out there who won't have heard of you.
No. It's a big, huge industry.
Why don't you introduce yourself? and what you do.
Okay.
Tell us about yourself.
Okay. This is the boring part. No, well, I'm a Mexican photographer based in Mexico, shooting weddings in Mexico. Sometimes outside, but I prefer to shoot in my country. Most of my couples nowadays are destination weddings that people fly, like you guys. People come to you. In Mexico, they go because it's beautiful and it's cheap. Maybe here's the opposite. But because it's beautiful, but it's not that cheap. You know?
We're still cheap over here. I think Americans come over. We're still quite
but
cheap
like
now.
the Mexican peso, man, I think it's like 25 pesos for 1 pound.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's cheaper.
Yeah, got you.
But yeah, I've been doing this for 13 years now, and every time I grab a camera, it's scary for me. But I want to scare as many traditional couples as possible, and it took me a lot of years to understand that.
Right.
Because even a creative job can be boring if you do it the safe way, right? So my idea is just to empower my kids that they can believe in themselves and they can follow something that if you become an adult, it doesn't mean that you're gonna be boring. That you can still enjoy life and find a meaning for it. And sometimes you have to sacrifice things to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said you like shooting in Mexico in your home country, maybe a wee bit more. Is that partly to do with family? So you're not away from them as much?
Well, I still have to fly.
Yeah.
Like Mexico is huge. So most of my weddings are in the touristy areas.
Right.
So it's still like a 2-hour flight for me to get there.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of the holidays, a lot of the weekends, I'm gonna be traveling.
Right.
Yeah, but it's fun. Like you think that after 13 years you know all your stuff, but it's not.
Yeah.
Every wedding, I feel the butterflies inside, and there's a lot of things that can go wrong on a wedding day.
Yep.
So most of the time I work by myself. So it's challenging. And the last wedding I shot, I hit my head and I started to bleed.
Oh my God.
Just before the ceremony. So no one wants a bleeding photographer, right?
Nope.
On the wedding day. So yeah, thank God it wasn't nothing serious, but the pressure's on. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully you got through it okay.
Yeah.
No, you didn't put any blood on the dress.
No, no, only on my face and my glasses. It looked like a scary movie. But yeah, but they were cool with it, and you just keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do, right?
Yeah, and weddings are like that. There's no control.
Yeah.
If you are a wedding photographer and you want control, like become a studio photographer. Something that it's gonna be more low pace and chilled.
Yeah.
Yeah. I prefer the no control, because then you just have to go with the flow and react to things, and it keeps you fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what got you into weddings originally?
Well, before doing weddings, I worked for a newspaper, and then I worked for a TV station,
Right.
and then an ad agency.
Okay.
So I knew that I needed a camera on my hands.
Yeah.
But I was doing like cinematography as well. I was doing like Tex-Mex music videos and just like independent rock bands music videos as well.
Yep.
Super low budget. Like this was before DSLRs.
Right.
So
Awesome.
trying to make a video look good was something difficult, And I really enjoy that. I was doing everything, like from the directing to the editing to the color correcting. Yeah, it was fun. I love that part. But then, I don't know, still got me. I think the editing part killed me a little bit back in the days, because you had to see everything while you were capturing. So, woof. Yeah. And I think photography for me was, wedding photography was a little bit liberating.
Right.
Because if you remove the creative director and the client, and then you're only selling a point of view, it can be quite fun and intrigued. But still, every year I feel the nerves. Like hopefully enough couples will gonna find me and we're gonna work together.
Yeah.
Like social media and all that, it's perception. Your followers and everything, it's something. But the bookings, it's another story.
Yeah.
So I mean, like 13 years. It's one hell of a journey.
Yeah, it's been fun.
So where did your journey start? And then where has it taken you?
So I was born and raised in a border town. So my first wedding was for the guitar player of my high school band. And I gave that wedding for free because I wanted to see if I liked it. So I just went to Google and say, okay, wedding photographer. And then I found like cheesy stuff all over because I type it in Spanish.
Right.
And then I type it in English, and I discovered this universe of photographers that a few of them have become my friends in this journey.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky because I have learned a lot from those guys. And since my first year, I went to different places to learn. So for me, that's what I'm always telling, that education has pushed me. It's better to feel like shit than feel pleased with your work. Because if you're happy with your work, you're done.
Yeah.
You're not going to keep pushing your boundaries.
Yeah.
So these 13 years have taught me that hopefully there's 13 more to come, and just keep going in that direction. Yeah. But most of my weddings, that I started shooting locally, and then I saw the potential because I saw a video of another guy that he was doing like same day edits
Right. Yeah.
on photography. So I started to do that on Mexican weddings.
Okay.
Because like this, our universe of wedding creators, it's so small.
Yeah.
And we think that our clients or our couples know it. And they don't know who's who.
Yeah.
Right? So I was trying to learn from everyone and then try to bring it to my city and my country. So that's why my formula has worked, because I was just mixing all my heroes. My style, it's not my style. It's just a mix, a fusion of all the people that I admire.
Yeah. I suppose we're all kind of filters with all the things that we like, and we take the bits that we like, leave the bits that we don't, and then that kind of becomes the stuff that we create if we change it up a little bit, and the stuff goes into our heads, we think, and then the stuff that comes out is our work.
It's our work, yeah. But like I don't know, like I love seeing works from people from all over the world, because they envision, I don't know, the meaning of love in a different way. Like, Rafał Bojar from Poland.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, he's amazing, and he sees in a different way, and he's doing a lot of like animation and video and mixing it with photography. So it's like, wow, it's empowering. It's like, okay, there's still a long way to go. And I love that. It's when you feel like you're like the biggest guy in the room, like you have to change rooms. You have to keep learning and working. And for me, that's the fun and the encourage part, the difficult and fun part of this industry.
Yeah,
you have to always keep pushing it. And now trends are faster.
Yeah.
Trends, like back in the day, like you can do the same formula for 20, 30 years and you're going to have a decent life. Now, like that wedding photography or wedding videography has become cool to do. It's a different ride.
Yeah.
And I like that challenge.
Yeah, it's funny when you mentioned being happy with your work. That's when you stop being good, essentially. I don't think there's one wedding, and Greg hates me for this. When I leave a wedding, I'm like, oh man, I didn't get the shot, I didn't do this well, I didn't do that well. And it's that kind of motivates me to be like, pull out something special in an edit, because it's one thing just to capture the footage and the pictures, but it's your interpretation of what you do with that image, the way you color it, the way you put music behind it, the story that you tell, and then you kind of create something different over here, and I quite like that. And it gives me a little bit of relief sometimes. But I'm a talker after a wedding. Greg hates that.
on the drive home from a wedding, he's always like, oh, I don't think we've got enough footage. Like, do you think we've done okay there?
Did you get a shot of this?
We get into the edit, and he sees what we've got, and he's like, oh, yeah, we can make something awesome from this. It's fine. It's fine.
But we need that.
I
think, it's that doubt's going to keep us pushing ourselves, I think.
You hinted at your style and stuff, and something I've heard you mention before, or a word that is related to you, is Visbons. So what is a Visbon?
What's a Visbon?
It's just like it's a made up word that's bis because visuals and bonds because of boners. So it's just like my favorite images. I call them beast bonds just to
Visual boners.
visual boners, man. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what would make an image a visual boner?
The ones I share, the ones that
Okay.
I think that they have my stamp on it.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that have that hashtag.
Cool. Do you use that only on your images, or would you see another photographer and go, that's a Visbon?
No, I use it on my own stuff.
Okay,
It's
that's
just
cool,
a
that's
way
cool.
to separate yourself. That at least you think that you're producing something special.
Uh-huh.
No, but it's a mix. Yeah,
Yeah, no, totally.
part of the branding, man. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
all. Yeah.
I love that. That's so good. How did you become confident enough to shoot so creatively at a wedding?
Okay.
Because I'm sure loads of people out there are just like, oh, I can't do that, or I don't see the world in the way that Fer does, or
By being disrespectful, it's number one. Yeah, because after a few years, like shooting everything through backlight can be quite boring for me, and it's challenging that. Like, okay, we know that that's a romantic shot, but what else? Like asking those kind of questions.
Yeah.
What else can I do with a cool couple in a cool location? I need that challenge to try different things.
Right.
And it also depends on where your background is. Like the things that you consume as a photographer or as a visual creator, it's gonna influence you.
Yeah.
So for me, it's about trying to honor the people that I respect, not in this industry, but in the visual industry. That's challenging. Like I try not to follow my friends because they're gonna influence me.
yeah,
So my Instagram feed, it's more about cinematographers and illustrators, something that it's gonna make me think in a different way when I have a couple.
Yeah.
Because at least the creative things or the creative part, it's gonna be, or the portraits, it's like 5% of the day, or sometimes less. So that's when I try to become creative. Everything else is gonna capture reality, but that 5% or 2% is gonna be a dream for me. So and my clients or my couples know that, and I try to make them part of my journey as well.
Right.
So I say, let's play together, let's experiment together, and see if we can get something cool out of this.
So you actually mentioned at the workshop that you feel like we're kind of cannibalizing our own industry, right?
If we only consume wedding photography
Yeah.
or wedding videography, yes, we
Yeah.
definitely are.
And then you asked everyone to unfollow each other.
Yeah,
Panic ensued. Did
Dude,
you see us all go, oh, no, I don't want to do it. I can't do it. My followers will go.
Yeah, no, we have to. I think we have to build a wall as Donald Trump for other photographers, wedding photographers.
So you want the wall?
like the creative wall. We need a creative wall. That's it. That's it. you know? Yeah, like I don't know. Like I get a lot of inspiration from cinematographers because I don't care about the story so much. Like the once upon a time, we know how it's gonna end. Every wedding is gonna end in the same way. So we can play with what's in the middle.
Yeah, so I had this conversation with people, or with, I can't remember who it was exactly. Anyway, the conversation went along the lines of like, everyone describes themselves as storytellers. It seems to be the hit word right now, storytellers, telling everything with stories and stuff. And I kind of got to thinking, obviously, there is a story in a wedding. And last year I was kind of pushing the more abstract kind of shots a wee bit during the earlier part of the year. And that kind of went away, and I started, I suppose, concentrating more on the kind of basic storytelling shots, you know. But then I was like, you know what? I feel like I want to be a little bit more abstract this year, because I feel like I am. Like, I have like go-to shots, as Greg says. I love having couples walking towards each other.
Yeah.
Right. Symbolically, I just feel like it's a perfect scene for describing what they're actually doing at a wedding. They're coming together and spending that moment, and that's a nice shot for me.
Yeah.
But there's also other things, like how you like playing with like the idea of being lonely and stuff, and how you portray that, and even just like things that don't make sense story wise. And I love Jennifer's talk, because she was talking about emotions and what a shot says to you, not on a visual level, but on an emotional level.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what I'm going to try for me That's my goal.
Yeah.
Is to try and tell things more on an emotional level rather than a story. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Playing
yeah,
with, like,
it
weird-
was the feeling as like it's
Yeah.
the feeling, not the obvious, no? Like
exactly.
we want to
exactly.
capture how it felt to be there, and not only this is a room with a bride or with someone wearing white dress, you know?
Yeah.
So I get it. It's but it's sensibility or sensitivity.
Yeah.
You know, like and that's what it's gonna separate everyone. We have to always be thinking about how I'm gonna show that the investment that they're doing on me is gonna be worth it.
Yeah.
So that's for me. That's where, like, if I see like an art gallery or a artistic movie, it's gonna lead me in different ways when I have my camera, because in the end, we're working with pixels, you know?
Yeah.
and it's a freaking robot that we have to make them feel. So that's quite intriguing, you know, because we can do snapshots or we can do video snapshots. You know, anyone can do that.
Yeah.
You know, just put the camera in front of you and then just press record, right?
Yeah.
But then you can challenge. What else? How if I change the angle, will it gonna change the story? You know, and I think as well, like we overestimate storytelling, because in the end, I think the mind doesn't remember like in a linear way. So we can manipulate. We're like time travelers,
Yeah.
and we're gonna create stories for them. So. And the memories, it's our responsibility to capture.
Yeah.
But just a simple image. If you underexpose it and it's moodier, no, people don't see like that.
Yeah.
No, our eyes just like compensate for everything, and everything has texture and dimension and detail. But we're like, no, this is an ugly room. I'm gonna underexpose to only show the light on the bride's face.
Yeah.
Or the opposite, we can overexpose like crazy, and that means happiness.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's technicalities transform into emotions.
Yeah. Just to give an example of just how powerful people like us are at a wedding, like these are people's memories that you can affect, and you can change the way that they perceive their wedding. And I was given a lift home by John Clark, and he was telling me that he shot some photographs. And it was like during one of the kind of boring elements of a wedding day, air bunny quotes. So the speeches, and it was the best man, the father, and the groom. So standard.
Yeah.
I think the best man didn't do a great job,
Okay.
but the father and the groom were okay. But what he had done is just in the sequence of images he put in order, he had the best man and then people laughing, but not shot from that speech, from other parts of the speech.
Yeah.
But you put them in that order, and suddenly the best man, who has maybe been thinking that he bombed during the speech, was oh, it's terrible. He sees those kind of laughs, and then he goes, oh, you know what? I didn't do too bad.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you've made someone feel better about their speech, and then you've changed the kind of perception of a part of the day for at least one person, and that's kind of a powerful thing. And that's not even the couple. You know, the couple, like you said, you don't like watching wedding films because you feel like you missed parts of the day. No, that's what the couple feel like, because they miss parts of the day too, and that's kind of part of our job, is to capture those moments as well
for them.
For them. Put it in a way that I don't want to make them feel like they missed out, but that they created these moments for their loved ones.
Yeah.
Visual legacies are something that you sort of talk about quite a lot, and people see your Instagram feed and it's those amazing creative shots, but I know you also love to capture the moments and the emotion and document those parts of the day.
Yeah.
So how do you approach the documenting of the cocktail hour to the creative couple shoot? How do you approach them differently? What's your mindset when you go into each section of the day?
Yeah, I try to use as much as available light as possible. So the same, I want to capture like how it felt to be there. Like I don't know, if it's a cocktail hour, like you can be obvious, you can be taking pictures of people reacting, or you can maybe just focus on hands. You can tell the whole cocktail hour only with hands, like with cigarettes and with whiskey, or like kids playing as well, or the bartender as well.
Yeah.
That's an important guy that sometimes people don't photograph. So it's the same. Like you have to be able to be changing from different like protagonists. Like it's not only about the bride and groom. It's about the feeling and the sensation of each part of the day. And everybody's gonna tell the story in the same different ways. Like I like to try to capture the action and the reaction in the same picture, and that can be a little bit tricky because you're gonna create messier compositions.
Yeah.
If you only focus on one hand, okay, that's cool, But then you need a complementary image of what's happening on the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can simplify by taking one action and then capturing the reaction, or you can challenge yourself and try to capture both things in one frame.
Yeah.
So I'm always trying to do both ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that. And as filmmakers, I think we need to simplify ourselves because generally, you look at someone's expression, where are they looking? You show what they're looking at. So it is kind of like that bitty. Whereas, just having that open up and see what's all happening in the one frame. I quite like that.
But you're gonna sacrifice a little bit of the precision. Like if you're shooting with a 200, okay, you're telling the viewer, look at this.
Yeah.
But if you're using a 24, like people are gonna be like, where do I have to look?
Exactly.
So that's the important part. Maybe you're gonna sacrifice attention, but you're gonna add context. So that's always a good choice to have.
Yeah.
And that's what I love using prime lenses, because you have two options, and that's it.
Yeah.
So it challenged me as well.
So, is there any kind of unique way that you approach all the other live elements of a day, or is it just you're just looking for moments and like what's your?
Well, the fun part for moments is like we know the script already. Every wedding is quite similar. So for me, the important thing is trying to analyze if I'm gonna risk on the important moments or not.
Okay.
I mean, like composition wise, or where I'm gonna be when they're gonna share the rings, or where the first kiss is gonna happen, and what I'm gonna sacrifice if I choose to take it from there.
Yeah.
Like for example, I did a wedding in France a few years ago, and I went to the top of a mountain to capture while the bride was walking down the aisle. So again, you're gonna sacrifice a few moments, but you're believing or you're trusting that image is gonna tell the whole story.
Yeah.
Okay? And then I run like crazy, But I
say,
knew I was gonna miss a lot of things.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the fun part on when real things are happening. I will never say to a bride, please repeat that moment again for me. No.
Yeah. It's funny. A lot of that happens a lot that happens a lot more in the video world. They get the stuff to repeat, but never for the genuine moments.
It's just never going to have that same emotion and same feel. If you say, just do that again, it's going to look reenacted.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and when you say someone to walk, they're gonna look like robots, no? Like walk and talk, like they're gonna it's hard. It's hard. So I know that for video you need more material because of the editing process.
Yeah.
But it will be a good challenge to say, okay, this wedding we're not gonna control anything.
Ooh,
Try that.
Yeah.
That's a challenge, guys, for
that
you.
is definitely a challenge.
Yeah.
Maybe take that one. Maybe take that one. Okay. How did you find your tone then? Like you talked about obviously how different people would capture the day differently. What's your tone? What do you want to say to your couples with your images?
I think I try to capture a lot of like the missing parts. I try to do the safe stuff as fast as I can. The safe represents like the people laughing or people interacting with each other, but there's always a backstory, and sometimes we don't see those. Like I love, like, I don't know, going to the kitchen and seeing the chef that's working his ass off to make everybody happy. I love that kind of stuff. Or if a speech is happening, maybe there's like some millennials like checking their Instagram account while an amazing speech is happening. So there's always a different story going on.
Yeah.
So we can see the obvious, or we can try to like see it in 360 degrees and challenge ourselves.
Yeah.
So I'm always trying to find the side story of the main action, and it's tiring as well.
Yeah.
Because the easy things, it's obvious. Yeah. The white dress and the black suit, go, and then you deliver this like I don't know, this archive of just two people, and sometimes you don't feel the energy of the room. So yeah, it's always about making a choice and knowing that you're going to sacrifice a lot of things, trusting in your vision.
Yeah.
So yeah, like a good mentor of mine, his name is Sergio photographer. He always told me, like, you have to enter a wedding with fresh eyes, like you're from Mars or from, I don't know, Pluton or Saturn, and you're entering this place for the first time. And that way it's going to be more liberating, and you're going to see the beauty in the normal things, in the ordinary things that we have in front of us. Because sometimes it can be another wedding, like you can lose the magic of the beautiful landscape or the beautiful venue. So it's always challenging.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, when they get into the height of wedding season, so to call it, they can just get into autopilot and just being like, I know I'm going to get this moment. But you're right, they need to start sort of seeing it new again. Yeah. Being like, this is interesting.
Yeah.
It's something just very simple, but might be interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
And for me, the portraits are like that. Like, yeah, you have this beautiful place. Okay, let's try to make something interesting out of a ugly place. And that's challenging, and it's going to be fun. So when you create something fun, it's going to inspire you. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to inspire you. So the next part of the wedding, you're going to be full of life.
Yeah.
So that's my drive.
Like on the wedding day, when you're trying to sort of create something interesting out of an ugly place, how do you find that? Is it sometimes a challenge, and do you find you really struggle at times? Or how do you go about that on the day, sort of finding that interesting place? Well,
you have to have like your own like formulas. So for me, when I'm in a place that I don't know, I'm always trying to find like the clean wall or the cleanest background possible. And then I try to find if hopefully we have decent light. And then we have to add like an interaction with the couple. But yeah, it's always trying to find the cleanest place possible. So that's doable no matter where the location is.
Yeah.
And if it has like interesting symmetry, you can add another layer as well.
With Jack was designed from the ground up and is tailored specifically for creatives. Whether you provide a service like design, development or photography, or offer advice to clients, With Jack is for you. It's focused on creatives. Insurance shouldn't be complicated, so With Jack has made every step easy. You'll deal with one form and talk to one Jack as you sign up, get covered, and move on with your day. With Jack is all about bespoke insurance for creatives. Simple. That doesn't mean more forms or faff, it means less. It's not about endless features and stale service. It's about one solid policy and the personal touch. Bye-bye unnecessary fuss. Hello, creative friendly insurance. Be a confident creative. Obviously, you mentioned different parts of the day, but I think the way that I break down to the simplest part, right, is the couple session that we have on the day just with the couple themselves, and then everything else, so the live aspect.
Yeah.
Right? Because the couple shoot is the only thing that you really have a modicum of control.
Yeah.
Like, and most of the time it's not, because you're timed and the planner's like, right, come on, we need to be doing the speeches or whatever it is.
Yeah.
What is your approach to just the couple session? Like what's your first step? You've got the couple, then what? What's your goal?
Well, I usually get them a beer or a wine so they can relax as well.
Okay, so they're already liking you then.
Yeah, and they're not models. They're normal people. They're not used to be photographed. So I ask them to have like 5 minutes so I can find the coolest place that I can find, in the area.
Yeah.
And then once I find my composition, I say, okay, you, the one who's wearing white, stand over here.
Yeah.
And the other dude, the ugly guy, always in the background, blurry, and so it's building something for them.
Cool.
And the same, I'm not stupid. I'm gonna do that same pose or composition with emotion, ooh-la-la stuff and all that crap.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm gonna go and try to create something for me. And as well, like I don't think that we need a lot of portraits.
Okay.
No, I like. Are you married, guys, or no?
I'm not.
I am.
Okay.
Yes.
So how many portraits bigger than 4x6 have you printed on your walls?
Not that many.
Not that many, right?
No.
Yeah. So we want to deliver like a lot. So we're
Yeah.
thinking about quantity. Like if I have 10 minutes, I have to deliver 10 awesome portraits. Like, no, not really. So I usually do like a safe shot, like the one that grandma wants.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I try to maybe create 1 or 2 interesting images for me. So yeah, that's my goal. Like light for me, it's not my biggest priority.
Okay.
So that's why I never say that I'm a professional photographer, because photographer represents like painting with light or writing with light.
Yeah.
And for me, it's composition is number 1, and then I start to add the elements, the simplicity, the symmetry, and forgetting about love on portraits.
Yeah. So the essence of a couple, does that ever like cross your mind? You're like, okay, well, this is a fun couple. I want to create an image that's representative of them. Does that go through your head, or at this point are you just kind of like, well, I have pushed this content out that kind of that like that's my style, you know? So couples are going to come to you kind of with that characteristic already in them. So what is that?
Yeah, for me it's the same. I want to make them part of my concept. Because I'm gonna have only a few minutes to create something.
Yeah.
And usually they book me because of that. So that's why I only show most of my social media is portraits, because that's my hook. And then after they like it, I'm gonna send them the storytelling part, air quotes, so they can have a better idea what a fool when sees through my vision.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to make anyone lie to anyone.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to send like mixed signals. I want them to see the creative part, and then I always tell them, please guys, check the slideshows. If you see yourself in the images, we're gonna be a good match. If not, I can refer you to other photographers that can please you a bit better than me.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you have any other tips like to make the couple relax?
Just provoke them, man.
Provoke them?
Provoke them as much as you can.
How do you provoke them?
I say bad words. I tell them to fight against each other, like with nicknames.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. So they can do like a war, nickname war.
Yeah.
And usually that relaxes them as well.
Totally.
You know, so yeah. Or if I want to do the romantic stuff, I just tell them to talk with their hands instead of their mouths. And so it's just small exercises.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
cool.
I prefer like a serendipity, like when you're taking a picture like yesterday and then a police officer walked by and it was part of the frame, you know. So we added that magic element that you cannot plan. Or sometimes a fly is gonna fly by and you use it as well. So, I prefer that. But if I don't have a strong composition, I'm not justifying their investment.
Yeah. Who was it who had the helicopter dick quote? Did you?
Crawley.
Liam.
Crawley, Liam. Oh my god,
awesome, man. Yeah.
I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
That you'd need a special kind of relationship with your couple to be able to do that and get away with it in this country.
Yeah, but they know in advance.
Oh yeah.
You're selling the tone. If you go to his website, they represent that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But it's the same. We have to be completely honest with them. The mood that we write on our website and our Insta stories, if we are like super serious, they're gonna expect that.
Yeah.
You know, so we have to sell our brand in as many ways as we can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think a lot of people, they do just default to that. Oh, you couldn't do that here. You couldn't.
Yeah.
With a Scottish couple, you couldn't say things like that. They would react crazy. But you're right. If that tone's coming through on your website, they're booking you for that tone. So they are going to react the way you want them to.
Yeah, and if no one else is doing it, there's an opportunity there.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so easy to judge, to be like God, like you should not. No, there's a way to find the holes in the system. And I think that can be inspiring. And we are entrepreneurs. How do you say entrepreneurs?
Yep.
Yeah. So we need to fight that. No, it's not about like if you find like a block road. Oh no, I cannot cross it. You can jump it. You can. I don't know. You can go under. There's always ways.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your Instagram and I suppose your brand, right? for a lot of newcomers to the industry, right, they see all these amazing images and they might get the idea that that is what they do.
Okay.
And every photo that they take is going to be that.
Okay.
On your talk, you mentioned that photographers are kind of like hookers, right?
Yeah.
Which I thought was hilarious. But you're kind of right. It's the balance between what we want to do and what our couples had to have captured, right? So obviously you're going to be posting the stuff that reflects you, I think, for most of the time. Talk to us about that idea of essentially being both and how you feel about that.
Yeah, I think that if we wanted to be like truly artists, we wouldn't be shooting weddings. Okay? You will be trying to make an exhibition and going to galleries and like suffering about money as well. Yeah, because that requires hard work. No, I never wanted to be an artistic photographer. That wasn't part of my dream. No, so I always admire, like, if we compare to musicians, I like musicians that have this amazing concept, but they can still sell tickets. Okay, I don't want to go super experimental and crazy noises and you know, like you're gonna make your market super small.
Yeah.
No, so you have to always be aware that you're gonna scare a lot of normal people if you are too harsh on your style. So for me, like in the photography farm, I show them my first year images, so they can see that it requires a lot of freaking years to get better and to be honest with what you have. And for me, my style, it was because of my friends. I require a lot of input to find my voice. You're not born with that voice, you know, maybe one every 10 millions, you know, but I think we always need to have people that love us and tell us, like, you're not doing it right. Like, watch out, you can be better. Or have you noticed this in your images? So this community, for me, it's amazing. Yeah, because they're there for you if you give yourself to them as well. But I think that nowadays everybody wants to be the best as fast as they can. And that's a downfall, because we're not doing this to be recognized. I think for me, this is just like a consequence. I wasn't expecting to become a speaker or to be here with you guys. I'm just trying to do my best, and then people start to notice. And if you weren't noticing, it's like, okay, I'm gonna keep doing my stuff. So there's a beautiful book called An Audience of One. And I love that kind of reading, because it's more about creating for yourself and finding your pack or your crowd, and everything else can go and pee-pee-dee-pee, you know, and don't care about what you do. Because if you want to please everyone, it's hard. It's hard, and so what I try to do is I can have control before they book me. I tell them my rules, I tell them what I need to create, but most of the time, the wedding day starts and things change. You know, the everybody wants the super traditional stuff, so you have to be reminding them, hey guys, remember, maybe the couple, they know you, but the mother of the bride doesn't, or the niece or the uncles or whatever. So that's when I do everything that they ask me, but I still have to push that against, so I can create images for me. Because the worst thing to do is like finish a wedding, go back to your hotel room or your house, and you say, I didn't do anything for me. So you have to be taking a few images for them, then a few images for you, and you have to be able to play with frustration. Come and go, come and go. And that requires a specific kind of character as well. So
when you give your images, like, what percentage represents the stuff that you shot for yourself and the stuff that you shot for them?
Well, how I deliver things, I first show them my best of. And then I wait for a week or so, and then I send them like the storytelling stuff, like the slideshow. That it's like maybe half and half, I think, for the slideshow. And then I wait one more week, and I deliver everything else, like the entire gallery. So for me, I need that. I need them to see, okay, you booked me because of this. Okay, then here's your story, and then here's the rest.
Okay. I think that seems pretty unique. Like, I've not heard of anyone else delivering in that sort of staggered approach. That's interesting.
Yeah, because imagine that you're getting married and then I go to your house with a big box with 1,000 images.
Yeah.
You know, they're not sorted. They're just like a big box of images. And here you go, Greg, your wedding pictures.
It's quite overwhelming.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
You don't know which one. And so we are the experts. Well, that's why we think we are. So we have to guide them. Like, okay, these are the ones. You know, like you can even like use gloves. You know, like here are the best ones, and then here's everything else, and then
Yeah.
yeah, that's how I try to do it, and so far it has worked.
It's also like, you know, when you give your product over, you're just doing that once. But the way you're doing it is like, well, here's a treat, and then here's another one, and then here's another thing you're gonna like, and here's all of these moments are gonna be like, oh, he's just giving me good stuff, good stuff all the time. It's a nice feeling. So yeah, I quite like that.
Yeah, and then you can surprise, even if it's not in the contract, with something extra. You know, like a few prints, like finer prints, and that's gonna be worth it for them as well.
Yeah.
And like in video, I have seen that a lot of videographers they prefer like the long version video instead of the highlight one. But I think we always need feedback from our real couples, not from our peers.
Yeah.
So I always try to do that to my ask them, like, hey, if you have a chance, can we have a couple of beers and tell me what I did right, what I missed? You know, was the investment worth it?
Okay.
You know, and that requires a lot of cojones, but it's gonna help you in your career as well.
Yeah.
And
do you try and do that in person? Like you say, try and get a beer and actually have a conversation with them rather than send out a questionnaire or something?
I think like face to face, it's always more powerful. But most of my couples, they don't live in my city, so usually I try to do like a Skype meeting if I can, if I have a chance. If not, you can do the questionnaire. But I think it's always better so they can listen to your voice. Now there's a lot of apps. I use one that's called Bonjoro, and you can record like video messages so they can see them. And you know, I think the more personal we can do it, the better.
Yeah.
I suppose, if you send them a form, there might be like, they might not want to fill it out because one, it's so impersonal, and two, they might feel like, oh, they're just trying to get a testimonial section for their website or something. So it doesn't feel genuine. They're not asking for a real reason, like how they connected with the film. They're asking so they can then sell more product.
Yeah.
So I guess, you know,
if you're walking on the streets and they say, yo, fill this form and I'm gonna give you like 20 pounds?
Yeah.
You might be like, no, fuck off, man. I want to keep walking. So it's the same. Like it doesn't feel natural.
Yeah.
So it's better to make it live.
It's interesting that earlier you said you don't see yourself as an artistic photographer or an artist, because when we were speaking to Cole last week, he referred to your work as pure creativity. It's interesting that other people see your work differently to how you feel it is.
But I think that maybe like a true artist is gonna create no matter what. And as wedding photographers, we're selling it.
Yeah.
We're trying to find people who are gonna feel appealed to our job.
Right.
So that's what I think. That's why. Yeah, it's a job. It's a creative job. Yes, but at the same time, you have to sell it.
Yeah.
You know? Maybe like a singer-songwriter as well. You can be this bohemian guy, you know, like playing in your family garage and just like playing for you, or you can be playing in a freaking stadium, you know, and so it's a different approach.
Yeah.
So I don't want stadiums, you know, but at least I want to have a decent life for my family, because if my stuff stop working, I still have to provide for my family.
Yep.
You know, so I'm willing to change whatever it takes. My family goes first. The art goes second.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I think. That's what don't consider myself an artist.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah, we have to keep it real, right? Because it's so easy, inspiration and aspiration, but the reality is like, we have to pay the freaking bills.
Let's talk then about that doubt that you'd get, right? You named that inner voice in your head, which I thought was hilarious.
Filomena.
That's right. Why did you name him?
I was listening to a podcast, and this girl, I don't remember the name of the girl, that she recommended that.
Okay.
Because our inner voice, it's not who we are. It's just all our like bad thoughts, or all our questions and all our doubts. And it's so easy to be controlled by them.
Yeah.
So a funky name, it's gonna help you to relax and say, and separated from reality.
Yeah.
So that's it's easier to, like a lion, if you imagine yourself as a lion, but maybe if it's a mice, so I can control a mice, not a lion.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's why the funky name.
Yeah. And
So
what does it tell you? Like, at a wedding day, what does that voice say to you?
For me, it is that you're not gonna do a good job.
Uh-huh.
You're not gonna have time to do what you're here to do. People are gonna treat you. People don't want to be photographed. So I think as videographers or photographers, we always need to have a smile on us
Yeah.
when we're photographing weddings. Even if we're having a bad day, always a freaking smile. But yeah, it's my enemy. That voice is my freaking enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have to learn how to tame it, and it's daily. It's not like yesterday photographing in front of other photographers. Like Filomena was loud, man.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
She was like, "You're gonna suck," and you're like the imposter syndrome. You
Yeah.
know?
Oh, right,
It's all about that
Uh-huh.
because you're teaching, air quotes, your peers, and you don't know, maybe they have done this longer than you. So it's about that. Like you wanna perform, you wanna give something that has value. So yeah, that's when the pressure starts.
Yeah.
Speaking of other photographers, throughout the years when you sort of learning photography and growing up, has there been other photographers that you've looked up to, admired? Is there any just now that you think's doing incredible stuff?
Yeah.
Like even probably not in the wedding industry because
No.
looking at that.
No, a lot of my friends are wedding photographers, or most of my friends are wedding photographers. Yeah. So yeah, like in the beginning, I still remember the first time I saw Ben and Erin Chrisman. They're based in the States, and I was amazed. From the UK, Jeff Askoff, that guy, he was shooting with Leica cameras, all film.
Yeah.
And it has this beautiful vibe. That was the same like when I was started. Anna Cooperberg, she's amazing how she can transform reality, like real moments, into just pieces of art.
Yeah.
For me. Then Gabe McClintock, for me, from Canada.
Oh, yeah.
He's a freaking teddy bear, man. But you see his pictures and you think you're gonna meet this guy, bohemian, and no, he's just a dude with a hoodie.
Yeah.
So we have done a few things together, and yeah, I love that guy.
He was
yeah.
at Farm last year.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he was.
Good guy.
So yeah, like, but at the same time, I don't follow them. I don't want to feel like contaminated.
Yeah.
Sometimes I pick them. I was like, oh shoot, they're rocking it. And so yeah, Jeff Newsom as well. He's one of my idols, and now he's a good friend as well. Sean Flanagan as well. I love his stuff because he breaks all the rules. There's a lot of people out there. I'm missing a lot. Sorry for that. but yeah, it's powerful to have so talented friends and then ignore them. At least ignore their job. Their work. Yeah.
You're like the worst friend.
Yeah,
Just give them a follow, man.
No. But like if they're launching a new website, like they're gonna send it to me and we're gonna interact and we're gonna give us feedback.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah. if your best friend was another filmmaker and he's like a super classic filmmaker because you don't do like super classic stuff. Bravo, but I don't want to see that. Like, I don't want to see that. Yeah. The one thing is a friendship, and the other thing is it's just a work. It's job. I always recommend them like cool movies to watch, or I ask them what have you seen lately, or what song has it inspired you, or what book. It's not because we're photographers we're gonna get inspired in photography.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's all these other genres or that stuff of things that we get creative from. Yeah, and podcast for me it's up there.
Yeah. I love a good. Yeah. I love a good.
Right? Yeah. Because you can be doing something else but your mind, it's like, I don't know, it's consuming everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the eyes can trick us. So I trust more my ears
Yeah.
than my eyes. Yeah.
Recently, last couple of episodes, we've had some book recommendations from folk, but you've already mentioned a couple in talking. You mentioned films and music. What band right now is top of mind for you? Who's inspiring you music-wise?
I love this guy. His name is Trevor Hall, like Hall. he's like a singer-songwriter, and he has, I think right now is my favorite song. It's called Everything I Need. That's the name of the song. And it's just like a mantra. It's repeating the same stuff like 20,000 times. But I love that energy. Yeah, for me, like Dave Matthews Band, it's way up there. John Mayer, I love his stuff as well. Yeah, I prefer just like, to be totally honest, I don't care about the lyrics.
Right.
For me, it's all about the melody, how it feels. And if it feels good, they can be talking about something really bad. But I prefer that. Like the melody, it's gonna move me. And I think my work is like that. Like sometimes I post an image and people try to find crazy meanings. And I'm like, no, man, it's only a picture. Like don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Yeah, for me, there's not a thought process. It's just something that's gonna look interesting, and that's it. Yeah,
I can't remember who I was speaking to a while ago, that it said if you can make someone, in fact, it might be Neil Thomas Douglas. If you can, because you've only got so much time before your image is gone. A couple of seconds, if that. If you can make someone think for just a second, you've engaged them. Maybe it's good that people are like looking at your images that way and being like, "Oh, is there a meaning behind that?"
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's weird, but you don't have that control.
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah, if they ask me, I'm totally honest. Like, it was just a cool picture.
Yeah,
We improvised. I love improvising.
Yeah,
it's not. Yeah, because my dad, when I was it's just a simple image.
Yeah. Well, we've been asking people at the end of the podcast who they think that we should talk to, who they think would inspire people listening. Who would you recommend that we speak to
from the industry?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be photographers though. Like,
no, it doesn't.
Planners, florists, anything.
Filmmakers, or even just business owners, because we've spoke to people before that aren't in the wedding industry at all. So anyone that you think has a unique perspective on things.
For me, Ken Robinson, he's a guy from the UK. He's I don't know what he is, but he's a speaker.
Right.
I love his approach into life and education and how we can change our perception of things. For me, that guy has helped me a lot with his books and keynotes. Yeah, if I can, or Neil Gaiman. He's like a
sounds familiar.
Yeah, he's like a comic writer.
Right.
And he did like Coraline, like a stop animation movie.
All right.
Like I love his approach into what he does, but he's like, just remove all the freaking justifications and just create art every single day. So that's a way to simplify what his approach is, I think.
Awesome.
Yeah.
More goals to reach for.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff there. Just stop watching wedding stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, do you want to plug all your, like, where can people find you and where are you speaking next and all that kind of stuff?
Well, I think if Fer Juaristi, I have all the information there. Yeah, I have like a Patreon website. It's like a educational stuff, like a Netflix for educating photographers.
Yeah.
It's simple, but I'm doing it in Spanish because we don't have a lot of content.
Right.
So we're adding English subtitles as well.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah, everything's in Spanish. So you're going to hear me swear a lot and just my real voice.
Yeah.
So you can learn some stuff from your photography, but you can also learn to speak Spanish.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. It's just like behind the scenes videos of a few sessions, a wedding as well. Yeah, that's it. I don't like to put myself out there, Yeah, that's it. Yeah, just go and create your own shit, guys. That's the main goal of what we do, like yeah, I'm not very profound, just if you just how you want to be remembered. That's the thing. If you're not happy, I'm a bit obsessed with Afterlife, with the TV show. Have you watched it?
Oh yeah,
with Ricky Gervais.
Yeah. There's a series 2 coming. Just to let you know, there is a series 2 confirmed.
I have one episode to watch. I'm loving. I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it's powerful. It's because it's more, you can connect more. It's not BS. It's just real life.
Yeah, I know. It kind of scared me a wee bit.
Yeah,
I don't want to be in that situation.
I know. But you can be there. So that's just feeling the empathy. And then it's good.
Cool. Another recommendation. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Thank you very much for
Thank you, guys.
coming
Thank
in.
You.
Yeah,
You've been touring all around and
All around. One more to
thank
go.
you. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thanks for the coffee. Thanks for the how say?
Iron Brew.
Iron brew. It's good. It tastes like
You like it?
Yeah, like guarana. It's one of the fruits
Okay.
from around there. But I like
Cool.
it. Yeah. Sugar, baby.
Oh yeah. Yep.
People can find us at Cinemate Films on all those social places that they're used to, or cinematefilms.co.uk/podcast, and you'll get all the links you need there.
Yep. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, hit that subscribe button just so you know when the next episode goes online. Please leave a review. That is a massive help in order to grow the podcast, or just tell a friend. However,
Until next time.
enjoy your life.